In this video, I'm going to show you how martial arts school owners are earning $40,000 to $50,000 a month without running ads, without chasing leads, and without working longer hours. So you can enroll better students who actually show up, who stay longer, and who bring friends and family, with a school that grows steady even when you're not pushing it every day. This is about building a school that feels stable, where money doesn't swing up and down every month, where attendance doesn't depend on you and the last promo that you ran, and where growth doesn't cost you your time, energy, or sanity. So instead of feeling trapped in your business, you become calm, a proud owner of a real legacy school, one that supports your life, not eats it. Quick note, these are real results from real schools, but your results depend on your market, your offer, your team, and your follow-through. This is a proven approach. It's not a promise. Now, this isn't for every school. This is for the owner who's already making at least $15,000 a month, who knows their teaching is solid, and who's built something real. But even with that, you still don't have the number of students you should. Attendance is up and down, retention feels shaky, and it feels like you can't step away without things slipping. You tried all the usual stuff. Ads, social media, promotions, challenges, more effort, more hustle. Sometimes it works, at least for a little bit, but it doesn't last. So if you're tired of working harder just to stay in the same place, if you're tired of feeling like you start over every month, and if you ever thought, why is this still so hard? You're in the right place. But if you want a quick trick, or a magic ad, or hype that promises you overnight results, this isn't for you. This is for owners who want real stability, who want to stop burning out, and who want a school that holds itself together. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to walk you through how schools like yours move from unstable growth to full classes, stronger retention, and steady growth that feels automatic. My goal is to help you become the calm, confident owner of a legacy school, not the burned out sensei who has to push nonstop. Here's what happens before most owners burn out. At first, it feels small. Classes aren't as full as they should be. Attendance feels random. You're not growing like you used to. So you do what makes sense. You run a promotion, boost a post, try ads, push harder. And for a moment, it helps. Then the same problem comes back. Students miss class. Some disappear quietly. New students don't stick. And soon the problem turns into complaints. I shouldn't have to chase people this much. I'm working more, but I'm not making more. I feel like every month I'm starting over. Then you notice things you didn't notice before. You check numbers more often. You think more about money. Even on your day off, your brain won't shut off. And then the feeling shows up. Not panic, not failure, just pressure. Like the school only works if you're on top of it. Like you can't take a real break. Like if you step away, things fall apart. And from the outside, everything looks fine. You're not failing, you're just not moving forward. So you start thinking, why is this still so hard? Why can't I get ahead? Is this what running a school is supposed to feel like? That's the moment most owners hit a wall. And we need to pause there because the problem isn't what you think it is. Let me show you what I mean. Carlos Leal was in a very similar spot. Good school, strong teaching, great culture, but behind the scenes, it was exhausting. Enrollments came in slow. Attendance was up and down. Students faded away. Every month felt like a reset. So we did what most owners do. He pushed harder. More ads, more promos, more content, more hustle. It worked in short bursts. But it didn't last. He was teaching all the time, doing the marketing, following up late at night. The school depended on him for everything. Then he realized something big. The problem wasn't effort. He already had effort. So we changed the design. How new students found them. What happened after they asked about training. How students stay engaged. Not overnight, but step by step, things got stable. His school went from about 100 students to over 280. Monthly revenue crossed 40,000. He hired instructors. He stepped back from the mat. He stopped feeling scared to take a day off. The school worked without him pushing every day. Now here's another example. Daniel Cannon had a great school. Then a new school opened nearby. Slowly, leads dropped. Enrollments slowed. Students started leaving. Within a few months, Daniel was 2 months behind on his rent. So he did what felt responsible. He hired agencies. He spent thousands of dollars on new ads and a new website. And somehow, it got worse. Leads didn't improve. The ones that came didn't stick. Money went out faster than it came in. So Daniel reached out to us. Instead of pushing harder, we fixed where growth was breaking, how the right people found him, what happened after they raised their hand, and why students stayed or didn't. Within 90 days, Daniel tripled his monthly enrollments. But the bigger win was this. The students stayed longer. They showed up more. They referred friends without being asked. Cash flow stabilized. Pressure dropped. Fear went away. These owners learned something that most owners never do. And in the next few minutes, you'll learn the most important truth about building a school that reliably reaches $40,000 per month. Why most schools stay stuck around 100 students, even after ads, promos, and more effort. The process that makes growth stick, so students don't just join, they stay and they refer. And once you see it, you'll understand why some things worked for a week, but never stayed working. And by the end, you'll know if this is the missing piece for your school, or if you should keep doing what you've been doing. Quick background so you know where this comes from. My name's Brian Diaz. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mentored by Dan Kennedy, and I'm a co-founder here at Monstro. I've been inside enough martial arts schools to know the difference between what sounds good and what actually works. For years, we didn't study the top 1%. We studied the schools that were almost there. Great instructors, strong communities, good reputations. Not failing, just unstable. One good month, then a flat month. Retention that looked okay, but felt kind of weak. Referrals that used to happen and then stopped. And what we noticed was simple. These owners weren't lazy, they weren't dumb, they weren't scared of hard work. They were doing everything that they were told. Ads, agencies, content, promos, chasing leads. But the pressure never left. So we asked a different question. Why does growth break in the same places, no matter how hard owners work? And when we found the pattern, we couldn't unsee it. The problem wasn't motivation, it was design. Most schools aren't built to hold momentum. They're built to survive month to month, and that changes everything. Now let me talk to you like a coach for a second. Most school owners never get this far. They complain, they blame the market, they say, this is just how it is. Then they go back to the same routine. That's the burned out sensei path. But you're not doing that. You're here because you want answers. You want a real fix. You want a school that supports your life. You already know something isn't adding up. You worked hard. You did what people told you to do, and it still didn't hold. That's not failure, that's awareness. And awareness is what helps you to change. You don't want quick wins. You want stability. You don't want to feel proud of grinding. You want to feel proud of what you built. That's the calm Zen master owner. And if that's you, this next part matters. Here's the real reason this has felt hard. It's not your work ethic. It's not your discipline. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's the belief that you've been using. Most owners believe, if I just work harder, push more, promote more, stay consistent, it will stabilize. And that feels true because effort does create results for a time. Enrollments jump. You feel relief. But then attendance drops. People fade, and the pressure comes back. So you push again, and you end up busy but not secure. Working but not relaxed. Here's the turning point. If effort was the answer, you'd already be where you want to be. That's the truth. Effort creates motion. Design creates stability. Elon Musk said it best. If you want different results, you have to change the system, not just work harder within it. To put it another way, running your school on effort is like trying to heat a house with the windows open. You can turn the heater up, you can pay a bigger energy bill, you can stand closer to the vent, but until the windows are sealed, the heat never stays. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If not, then let me say it as plainly as I can. If you want a full, stable school and you want your life back, you have to design a system where the right actions happen automatically. Once you do that, you stop chasing momentum. You stop feeling like growth resets. And the school stops depending on your energy to grow. Now you may be thinking, but Brian, if I can just get more people in the door, then everything will work out. If you still believe that, then you're not hearing me. You're putting all your focus at the top of the funnel. More ads, more posts, more promos. That's why you're stuck in a never-ending loop of spikes and then drop-offs. Hear me when I tell you that growth doesn't break at the door. It breaks after. It breaks when people don't show up, when trials don't convert, when students drop off quietly, when referrals only happen when you beg for them. So even if you get more leads, you're feeding a system that leaks. If you keep pouring water into a leaky bucket, the bucket never fills. That's why no amount of effort will change anything for you. You're only creating motion, not stability. Again, let me say it as plainly as I can. The problem isn't getting people in. The problem is the school isn't designed to carry them forward once they arrive. Fix that, and the results of everything else you do multiply. Now, seeing this is good, but seeing it doesn't fix it. Design beats effort is a principle, and principles only help when you turn them into a process. So we built a system that fixes the exact points where growth breaks every time. It does 3 things in order. It connects you with people who are already looking to enroll. It guides them from interest to showing up without chasing. It builds retention and referrals into the school by design. It doesn't rely on you being perfect. It doesn't depend on your mood. It simply builds momentum. Now let me be clear about what this is. This isn't a course. This isn't an agency running ads. And it's not software that you have to figure out. This is a complete growth system built for martial arts schools. It's built to be installed, not managed. It helps you to capture people in your area searching for a martial arts school, convert more leads into trials, and keep students engaged so that they stay longer and refer more often. So instead of hiring and firing new agencies every 3 or 4 months, testing new offers and spending all of your profit on more ads, you get stable attendance, stable enrollments, predictable referrals. Basically, you get a school that feels solid. Now let me break down each phase for you so you can understand how this works. Phase 1 is about attracting the right people at the right time. Not everyone. Not random freebie seekers, not people you have to beg to come for a trial, people already looking to join. So instead of interrupting strangers, you capture demand that already exists. You capture their info, you talk to people who are ready, that changes everything. Better leads, shorter conversations, less chasing. And if you skip phase 1, everything downstream gets harder. So phase 1 isn't about volume, it's about quality. So the rest works easier. Phase 2 is where most schools lose momentum. Even when the right people find you, they still get distracted. Life happens. They hesitate, they forget. So phase 2 is automated follow-up and conversion. The result is simple. More trials actually show up. Not just booked, they arrive. No chasing, no late night texting. No, did anyone follow up? I'm not saying you should neglect your leads entirely. I'm just saying that the system does most of the heavy lifting for you so your trial classes are full. If you skip phase 2, leads leak. No shows happen and effort comes back. Phase 2 turns attention into momentum. Phase 3 makes growth stick. Because getting people in once isn't a success. Success is what happens after. Do they stay? Do they show up? Do they bring friends? Phase 3 builds retention and referrals into the school. Students are recognized, progress feels visible, consistency is rewarded, community feels real. So when someone misses time due to injury or illness, they return, they don't vanish. And referrals happen naturally because people are proud to be a part of it. This is what creates stability. Revenue smooths out, planning becomes possible, pressure drops. You stop running the school like you're fighting fires, and you start owning it like a real business. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I don't want another thing I have to build. Good. That's not how this works. We install it for you. The setup, the structure, the automation, the platform, you're not handed a login and left alone. You get real support from people who understand martial arts schools. And there are no long-term contracts. If you're not signing up better students who stay longer and refer more often, we want you to cancel. So here's what's clear now. Effort creates motion. Design creates stability. The real problem isn't getting people in, it's what happens after they show interest. The fix is a 3-phase system that attracts the right people, gets them to show up, keeps them engaged so that they stay and refer. When those pieces work together, growth stops resetting. Pressure comes off. Momentum builds. And then the school becomes solid. If you stayed with me this far, you're not just curious, you're serious. You can see why what you've been doing hasn't held, and you can see that there's a better way. So the next step is simple. Book a discovery call. We'll look at your school, your numbers, where the growth is breaking down right now. If this system fits, we'll show you what the installation looks like. If it doesn't, you'll still leave with more clarity than you had before. No pressure, no long-term contracts, no guessing, just a clear path forward. Because owners who build stable schools don't keep hoping. They change the system. And if you're ready for that, I'll see you on the call.